Please understand, when you remember some object of the outer world, that object doesn't have intelligence or power to appear in front of you, to be there in front of you. But enlightened beings are not objects. They are energy and intelligence. One more thing, which is a very important thing you need to understand. Enlightened masters, even if they leave the body, they will have to retain their sukshma sarira, subtle body. They will have to make themselves available. They will have to available for all of you. Please understand, till you all become enlightened, they can't disappear. Even if they have given up their bodies. One more thing, for enlightened being, even while he is in the body, he is not touched by the body. I always tell people, enlightened masters are not present as you think, and they are not absent as you think. See, always when some enlightened masters die, you think they are absent. No. Same way, when some master is in the body, you think they are present just like you. No. They are not present even while they are in the body as you think. They are not present, it is their presence. Understand? When an enlightened person is in the body, he is not present as you think. He is present in a totally different dimension. He may be in front of you, but he is not present as you think. He is in a different space. His body may be visible to you, but he is in a different space. Same way, even after he leaves the body, he is not absent as you think. A small incident which happened in Nisargadatta Maharaj, a great enlightened being who lived in India. Somebody asked him, Master, you say the enlightened beings don't have karma. Then how you are speaking with us? How you are able to talk? Nisargadatta Maharaj says, I am not talking to you. He is talking and he is saying, I am not talking to you. The disciple was completely confused. He said, what are you saying? I am not talking to you. And you are talking to me. And you are saying, I am not talking to you. The Master says, Maharaj says, because you want, you are getting the answers from this system. This system is programmed to respond like a voicemail. Automatic intelligence which responds to you. That's all. Otherwise, the system itself does not have an ego like you. Understand? You can't say automatic replying machine is living mechanism. No. It just responds to you because you wanted somebody to respond. Maharaj says, I am responding to you because this is the way you wanted. And he says beautifully, if somebody approaches me with the attitude of dasabhava, means servant, I look like a leader. If somebody approaches me with the attitude of a disciple, I look like a master. If somebody approaches me with the attitude of father and son, I look like a father. So, whatever attitude they have, just I reflect it. I just fulfill what they want. Otherwise, I myself don't have any identity or ego. He says, I am not talking to you. You are listening the answers which you want to listen, which you need to listen. That's all. Automatic replying system. They are not present as we think. Same way, enlightened beings who have left the body, they are not absent as you think. When they had a body, their presence had a body. When they left the body, their presence does not have a body. That's all. Otherwise, having a body or not having a body is no way going to disturb or change you connecting with that master. Understand? As far as master is concerned, whether they have the body or not, it's not going to disturb them. It is not going to change anything. It is not going to, they are not going to miss anything. So do not think just because they don't have a body, you can't experience their presence. This simple remembrance can invoke their presence immediately in that very moment, wherever you are. Remembering them will simply create their presence because they are waiting. They are waiting to be called. The TV advertisements, you see that operators are waiting for your call. Please call now, call now, call now. Same way, masters are waiting. Please chant now, chant now, chant now. They are waiting, available. All you need to do is remembering them. Just the remembrance is enough. You will see that their presence is in front of you. They are not absent as you think. Just because you are not able to see the stars, you can't say stars doesn't exist. Same way, just because you don't see them with your eyes, you can't say they don't exist. Only one benefit, if the master is with the body, you may be able to feel him with all your five senses. If he is without the body, you have to feel him, experience him only in the inner space, which is beyond body. That's all. But you can verily experience him because they can't disappear till you become enlightened. During initiation, before every initiation, all the masters, enlightened beings, they take vow. Understand? During initiation, don't think only you take vows. Only you make commitments. Master also makes commitments. He says, till you become enlightened, the energy which is working through this body, even if this body is dropped, will help you and assist you till you reach the same state in which I am living. That's the commitment all the masters give. Till you achieve that same enlightened state, even if this body drops, this energy promises you to guide. That is the commitment a master takes. Understand? So even Mahavir leaves the body, he has to make himself available to all of us till we become enlightened, till we achieve enlightenment. He has to make himself available. The moment you remember these great masters, you will see their presence is there in front of you. And next line, I bow in reverence to Siddhas, means the liberated souls. The word Namo, you should understand that word also. Namo means you offer I and mine, ahankar and mamakar. Na mama, ahankar and mamakar, you offer both. me and mine, I and mine. See, important thing. It is very easy to offer mine, means wealth. You can very easily give wealth, check. Because after some time, all rich guys feels the futility of wealth. What will you do? What will you do? Now you can buy anything which money can buy. After all these basic things, what will you do with the money? Maybe more and more zeros are getting added in your bank balance sheet. And in this country, you don't even see the currency. Only 2% is in the printed currency form. Only the passbook or the bank balance, more and more zeros are getting increased. And for that zeros, you give your whole life and you are constantly running. And finally, the person who is making you run, only those leaders' egos are expanding and you don't even know what are you going to do. And suddenly you will leave all the zeros one day and become zero. And after some time, all rich people feel the futility of wealth. What to do? It's okay. It is very easy to give money. I have seen all rich guys erecting temples in every city. Why? They understood there is no value. There is no value. Money is valuable only till you achieve all your basic needs. That is why people are kept in poverty without giving them the feeling that they have all the basic needs. They have enough wealth to take care of all the beings who are already on the planet Earth. We can give them food, we can give them clothes, we can give them shelter, we can give them medical care, all the basic care we can provide. It's a cunning strategy created by the so-called leaders to keep common man in poverty without fulfilling his basic needs, so that he will run, work and create more and more infrastructures, and these guys' ego can be feel fulfilled. Understand? We have everything. A right strategy is all we need. Right planning is all we need. And we have enough intelligence. And first time we are facing a situation where so much of intelligence is available and so much of technology and science has done miracles. We have everything and we can take care of the whole society. All the basic needs can be taken care. It's not a big thing. A rich guy knows money is valuable only for a common man who has not achieved fulfillment in his basic needs. Giving the mind is not a big thing, very easy. But giving I is the real thing. Giving I is the real thing. If you give I, you become God in the temple. If you give mind, you become a person who build temples. That's all. Mahavir became Mahavir because he gave I. He gave away the I. He dropped the ego. He has gone beyond the ego. He has gone beyond the I and mine. Understand? Do you want to be a donor or do you want to be a person who is sitting inside the temple? You want to become a worshipper or the person who receives the worship? The moment you give away the I, you become a person who receives the worship. If you are giving away only the mind, you are worshipper. Person who gives up I and mind both, he becomes the Arhanta. Now, when you give away your I and mine to the Arhantas, you achieve the same state in which they are living.